All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope you guys can hear me okay. Just want to do a quick mic check before we get started. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market. Excellent. All right, guys, so let's get going here. Good morning. Wow, what a gappers list do we have this morning. So as usual, we'll go over our top plays and highlights for yesterday on this list we had here, our watch list. We'll try to go through this pretty quick as we have quite a bit to dissect over here in our gappers list. Then we'll get over into some announcements. Then we'll do our gappers list. I'm sorry, we'll do our support and resistance, NASDAQ active, and then we'll see what you guys have on your end, which I think you shouldn't have much because it should all be here already. Good morning, Norm. How you doing this morning? I am not hearing Norm. Just one second, guys.
Hey man, I'm sorry about that. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good, good. All right, now we got you loud and clear. Excellent. Doing good. So yeah, guys, let's get right to it. With no time wasted, as we got a bit to go through here. So JD, in this case, yesterday, JD. Let's go over to our 5 minutes. See how JD traded, and we'll get our 1 minute also in the chart. This was definitely one of the stocks to trade of the day, alongside with DH. DCPH as well. So JD here again, just a beautiful pre-market activity. Also Baba yesterday also had a great pre-market activity. If you like to trade something that's a lesser price, this is a better stock to trade. But you can see here it had a nice drop right at the open. I was actually looking for this for an opening range breakdown in this area here on the one. I'll show you exactly how that looks. I was waiting for this beautiful pullback that it did give us. So it gave us a nice pullback here. Right for the start of the 5 minute candle on the way down. I got in here for a short. Did not actually sell off back down to the low of the day. It came back up, got stopped out around this area here before hitting all these moving averages. And then from there, it just became a lot of things on here you could have traded. You had a beautiful engulfing crack, right? And this candle engulfs the previous one. Then you have this beautiful pullback, right? If you don't get in here, you got a beautiful pullback right to the moving averages. And then you get the beautiful pop. So it just became a beautiful long. And if you got in around this area, you got rewarded pretty fast. Also, the SPY around this time had a great pop as well. You can see the SPY also had this same setup on the 5 minute. From there, it comes back down, gives you a beautiful ABCD pattern, which we teach in our classes how to enter these. Again, it just comes down. Here's the support, your C support, and you could take this up for another leg up. And then again, kind of does another ABCD pattern right on here. Again, this can happen several times in a stock, and then here it takes off even further. So again, just JD was amazing to trade yesterday. AAP was also unbelievable, popping up at least what $7 or so. But again, this stock, the price action, the spread was just not great, guys. Again, it looks good now after the fact and very clean. But if you're looking at this price action, I was looking at it closely. To get into this trade was very, very difficult. But again, beautiful pop here, opening up around 129, 130, and then heading all the way up to 142, which was the high of yesterday. So just incredible. That also was the previous day close of the previous day as well. It was around that area. It couldn't get above back to green. So again, it gapped down quite a bit, and it just kind of gained everything back. And I'll show you that in the daily chart really quick. So you can see here, this was the previous day close from yesterday, the day before, 2 days ago, and then it gapped up down here and came right back to this area. So that's APP. Let's go over to AMD. AMD, I actually didn't watch this one closely. I'm not sure how I actually traded, so we'll go in here. Yeah, AMD, kind of the same situation like JD. This sell-off, almost engulfing, not quite, but then you have that same setup with this long candle here, the consolidation, almost a pullback. This one is a lot deeper than JD, and then the takeoff when the SPY was selling higher, breaking towards the high of the day. So if you took this in this area here, that could have been a beautiful long. But JD definitely had the better setup as it was above all the moving averages, making it a nice support in the bottom of the price and a good way to mark your stop out. Here we have BE. I didn't have shares for short. It was on short selling restriction. Again, beautiful drop here from 6 all the way down to 520. That's $1 drop on a stock that's trading at $6. That's amazing. And then from here it just gets very choppy, not really tradable after that. And then just here, just really not doing much. Volume completely died out. No activity. Do you here, DOYU, same situation, almost like BE, just drops here nicely about $1 or so. Then just becomes really untradeable. You do have an opportunity here for an opening range breakdown on the 5. So this is your range here. This is the nice pullback you want to see. This is where you want to get in. But then here it doesn't happen right away, right? It takes about 20 minutes to get going. You have to be very patient to wait for this drop, all right? Next over here, we have MU. MU, same situation, almost like JD and AMD, but just a lot cleaner than AMD was. Again, you didn't have a sell-off on this one. This one just kind of hung out here into the pop, came from the SPY, and the markets, you can see here, just took off beautifully, trading very nice. Look at this 1 minute chart, just following this moving average perfectly. ABCD patterns after ABCD patterns on MU. DCPH was unreal, guys. Had a beautiful pre-market activity. This one was gapping up about 70% around this area here. Topped out around 48, and then it sold off right at the open. So a lot of you guys in the chat room took this for a short. It was not easy to take this one for a short. I think the spread was a little crazy at some points, but look at this beautiful short. If you were able to get in, this was on short selling restrictions if I remember correctly, but if you was able to get in here for short, you got a nice beautiful drop all the way down to these levels. I saw some of you even taking getting your limit order hit right around this area, so great trade on those that were able to catch this downtrend here. So that's what we have from yesterday, guys. Let's get over into some news. I know it's a lot of stuff going around. Norm, what is the latest and greatest today on the SPY and the market?
You phrased that correctly. A lot of stuff going around. It's almost like the market has a flu this morning. So if anybody's watched the news today, they probably heard that the bond yields in the U.S. have inverted the 2-10 yield specifically for the first time since 2007, I believe. And it's one of those things that the inversion of the bond yield signals a recession, or has coming, accurately for the last 50 years. Sorry, I guess Siri just thought I was saying something to her. So yeah, it's fired off. When I first woke up this morning, the market was down a tiny bit, but it was relatively flat. And once news broke of the bond yield actually inverting on the 2 and the 10, it really caused the sales side algorithms to just go a little crazy. So this day should be interesting. Everything I'm seeing here on the watch list not everything, for the most part, what I'm seeing on the watch list looks like that is the cause. Obviously, some of these that are down 13, 32% have other catalysts, but a lot of this is just based on that. So what else do we have going on today? So import price indexes this morning was just released. I don't have the numbers on it yet, but that is the overall view of what's going on in the market today. And keep in mind that the 210 inversion, it's something, yes, it's accurately predicted recessions over the last 50 years, but the average recession is usually, it's the average time until the recession is like 22 months. So it doesn't mean, we're all going to be in bread lines next week or anything. Just food for thought.
Gotcha. Yeah, so again, going to be an interesting day already. We can see on our gappers list, we have a lot to go through here and a lot in the red. So we'll start with the only two that are showing green right now. Let's start, just get a little space over here. Here we go. Let's start over with INMD. So INMD, let's bring this over here. INMD. So this one is gapping up 25%, 119,000 shares traded. Is looking like a recent IPO, just opened up on the 8th. I don't have any more history on this going back. So right now, pre-market activity not looking all that great, guys. Got some decent volume, no, not decent, okay volume, just barely cracking 100K. But again, right now the pre-market activity not looking all that great, and there's not a lot to go on with this one. INMD, right? Recent IPO. You got several days. It's just kind of been consolidating. But let's see how this pre-market activity opens up. Any news on this, Norm? I mean, it's just a recent IPO. I don't think we're gonna have a lot on it.
Yeah, it is a recent IPO. They had their first earnings release and call yesterday, so they had a record revenue in that quarter and some pretty huge growth, which is causing it to spike.
Excellent. All right, so let's head on over to Rio. It's the only other one that is green, up 8%. So Rio, REAAL, is up 8.2, 102,000 shares traded so far. Pre-market activity not all that great, guys. You can see here also another recent IPO looks like. Yeah, another recent IPO opened up in July 28th. So not much history on this one. It's kind of been chopping around in this area, not giving you a lot of action, except for about 2 or 3 days ago where you have this beautiful drop here, and now you kind of have a bounce, and then it's now heading back down. So again, another one that's also sitting with this INMD, which again, not a lot to go on at the moment. No available shares for short. Usually recent IPOs do not have that. Norm, anything special on this one today?
Yeah, they reported, and same story as the last one. They had their earnings report last night, and they jumped pretty hard. So they actually were up significantly more than this. They closed around 17 yesterday, and when the report was released, they even spiked above 20, and then it's selling back off a little bit at this point. So
all right, excellent. Let's head down over to WFC. WFC here is down 2.3, 100,000 shares traded so far. This is West Fargo. Tends not to trade all that great unless it's in real play. So right now, pre-market activity not doing all that much, guys. Pretty flat at this moment. Only 100,000 units traded. I do like the way the daily is setting up, though. We're sitting right at an area of support. You can see right over here. Right over here, almost, not quite. And then also last several days, you have this area here that's been holding. So again, it's just interesting on the daily. Definitely worth taking a look at if we can get something else out of this today. Next, we have Apple. Apple is on our list here, also down 2.3. Today's going to be one of those days, guys, we're going to have to be picky on the stuff we watch. If we look at our gappers list, between here and here, all of these gapping down 2.3, 2.5, 2.6, 3.4, and maybe 3.5. I see a lot of banks already on here. I see Bank of America. I see Citigroup. West Fargo, we just went over, and I'm not sure what these other ones are. Go ahead, Norm.
Yeah, so well with the bond yields going down as they have, which has caused the inversion, that's going to trigger all these banks. So that's the news. That's why all the banks are kind of sitting in the same spot.
Yeah, so now that we kind of know that and have that in our heads now, we're going to go through those pretty quick and probably watch one or two of the banks that probably have the best pre-market activity and volume. But I expect if they're all going to be trading the same fashion this morning. So here we have Apple. Apple is down 2.4, 483,000 shares traded so far. Let's remove some of these levels. Pre-market activity for Apple is looking pretty good today. It's a lot of nice volume here. Great pre-market activity on this drop. So I like the way Apple is setting up, and it's a good stock to watch if you like trading within this price range. No, I know you love these to trade Apple. On a day like today where the market can kind of move the way these stocks are going to trade today, this could be a good one to watch and have on your list. Next we have JD, which was beautiful yesterday, popping up really nice. Today they're down a bit, 2.5, 189,000 shares traded, and also a decent pre-market activity. So we definitely want to watch JD this morning. Again, just an amazing day yesterday. We'll remove some of these levels and get some fresh ones. It actually gapped up, and then it held that move all the way up to this level here, 31. So JD is looking good today as well. BBL down 2.4, 162,000 shares traded. This is trying to see what kind of stock this is. Looks like a foreign stock because I'm seeing a lot of gaps between the daily chart. So on a day like today, this is one that I do not want to watch. We have plenty of other stocks that are going to be looking better on the daily and also on the pre-market activity. If you look at this here, there's not much going on. You probably have some block trades causing this. Yep, right here at 43.28. You got several block trades that are causing this to come up in our scanner. So we won't spend any more time on that. Let's remove that one out. Next, we have our buddies AMD and MU back to back. So AMD is down 2.5, 1.3 million shares traded. I mean, that's just insane. It's only 8:45 Eastern time. So this one, I do love the daily chart, though. It has a beautiful drop here. It looks like it lost the last area of support to around this area here. You also have resistance, which probably came support if you draw a line right through here where the price action is at now. So we also have some good levels here we can find if we lose this 31.18 that we have. So AMD definitely worth watching. Pretty flat on the pre-market activity in this area now, looking at the 5-minute, but I expect that to settle in nicely at the open. MU is down 2.9, 158,000 shares traded. Similar activity to AMD, just with a lot less volume, right? So if you look at the daily, also had a good green day yesterday. Again, coming down again about the same percentage as AMD. I'm sure this is because of the SPY, so we'll definitely keep an eye on MU. We might not keep it, but it's one worth having on our list here. All right, 1 second, guys. Why is this not erasing? Oh, it looks like my pen froze. Let's start that again. All right, while that comes up, let's go over to, all right, things keep flip-flopping. So we have this one, good. BBL, we looked at. WFC, we have. JD, we have Roku now here. See what Roku is up to. So Roku is down 2.4, 212,000 shares traded so far. Actually, not a bad pre-market activity. It's got some volume. It's got some volume in here. You can see it's a little choppy right now, but this is okay for Roku. Roku tends not to have the greatest pre-market activity, but it can put in a very beautiful day. So definitely one we want to watch this morning as well. So we'll keep this on here. Again, you see an area of support right around this 129.49 right over here, and then we can see it's kind of holding this 131 level. We'll see how it reacts over in a couple of more minutes. Next we have, let's go into some banks. So we have C, which is, I believe, is Citigroup. Yep, Citigroup. On here again, just kind of doing the same thing a lot of these are going to be doing, just dropping down based on the SPY. So again, the pre-market activity on this one not looking all that great. Let's go over to Bank of America, BAC. Also suspect, yeah, the exact same pattern here, guys, with some more volume. And the daily chart also pretty much very similar to what
you and I have discussed this a lot whenever Bank of America pops up or somebody brings it up. Bank of America and a lot of these banks, unless they have their own specific catalyst, are very difficult to trade, and you're not going to get much out of it. Yes, they may be on the gappers, but they're just gapping down with the market. 1.3% gap down on the SPY is pretty significant. The VIX has popped above 20. Just for instance, if it was on earnings or something, maybe a different story. But otherwise, I personally won't keep these on my watch list.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I don't expect them to move a whole lot. I'd rather watch one of the ones that we like AMD or MU. These are probably our best bet to watch to kind of follow what the market is doing, right? Next, we have STM. So STM is one that doesn't really trade. Let me make sure I'm not confusing it, first of all. Yeah, this is one that doesn't trade very well. This is the one. Yeah, it tends to be a little gappy. It has some days where it has done some good movements, but overall, look at this pre-market activity. Not anything really exciting. Just barely cracking over 100,000, down 3.6. But again, nothing great going on here. I had a great day yesterday, which a lot of stocks did, based on a nice comeback on the markets. But again, not really one that trades very well. So off the bat, I'm just going to remove it to save time. Next, we have PTLA. Down 3.1. This one is 157,000 shares traded. But this pre-market activity, guys, does not look great at all. It's very choppy. Not a lot going on here. Had a great day a couple of days ago. Kind of came back down, tested this moving average one more time. So it's bouncing from that a little bit now. But again, just not really anything great on the pre-market activity-wise. Although it has some okay volume at 157,000 shares traded. So next we have LK.
And PTLA is on a secondary news of a secondary offering. So.
It is. All right. Yes, I'm definitely going to take that one off, guys. I think today we're going to have a lot of stocks that are going to be trading very well with some good volume. I don't think we need to watch something like that. LK, on the other hand, has a better pre-market activity, some really good volume, 883,000 shares traded so far. It is down 8.4. Also, I do love the daily. You can see here it's got some nice bounces off this level we have here, 2173, which is very close towards the low of the pre-market today. So this one looks a little better. Definitely want to keep an eye on this one. Daily chart gets a little choppy within this area here. It's beautiful from here to here, guys. From here to here, this is a nice daily chart. Look at those patterns, right? This is what you want to see in a daily chart. Continuation of a move. Looks like an ABCD pattern forming here, following this moving average. And here it kind of gets all chopped up. Could be because of the way the markets have been reacting, just kind of messing up their flow, or unless any other news came out. But again, overall, decent daily chart. We'll see how the pre-market action develops on LK. Any news on LK that they're down 8%, or just overall market conditions?
You picked one I have not gotten to. They reported earnings this morning, but I have not had a chance to dig into it yet.
Oh, wait, you haven't had a chance to go through this 30 stocks that we have?
No, exactly. I haven't. They did miss their estimates. Their loss was bigger than expected, but I haven't really had a chance to dig into it yet.
Yeah, no worries, man. We have way too many today.
LK is, it's a fairly low. It is a very low float. It's a recent IPO. It's a Chinese company, so it's not something I really consider, other than the interesting wedge we talked about for a while on the daily when it first came out. It's not really something I trade.
Yeah, yep, agreed. So let's head down over to KSS. Is this Coast? KSS here? Yeah, this is Coast. So they're also down quite a bit. Nasty pre-market activity, guys. This is not looking great. Has a big drop here. Looks like the last night or this morning. Can't tell where this falls under. But again, not a great pre-market activity, guys. So we're definitely going to skip this one for now. Could be a good one to hit our scanners, but I think our scanners are going to be crazy today, just given the fact that our gappers list is really all over the place this morning. For the low flow team, I can already see RKDA is making some noise here. RKDA. It is down 11.3. This is with the point where it really becomes untradeable. Even if I was trading low flow stocks, this is the time I would just not pay attention to it, because you already have some really big moves. Now people are just bailing out on it. Reminds me of a BPTH where you had the first 3 days were great. You had some good patterns, and then once it gets too toppy, then people just start bailing out and taking their profits out or shorting it, or whatever the case may be. But be very careful with this one today. Not one that has much action. Volume wise, is down quite a bit. And again, it looks like it's losing some of its juice from the last 3 to 4 days where it did this pop here. So I'm going to remove it today. Next, we have OSTK. OSTK is like it trades like a low flow. So you want to be very, very careful. This stock can move on you, $1 in a matter of minutes, seconds. So be very, very careful on OSTK. Definitely watch your risk. Today it is down 11.8, $155 in shares traded. It seems to be holding this consolidation area we had a couple of weeks back. You also have a nice area of support in here that we can get into when we do our levels. Pre-market activity wise, it does look okay. It has a nice pre-market activity since this morning. Not anything too exciting, but again, just want to be very careful on how you manage your risk on this stock. What is the ATR on OSTK? Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about, guys. This stock is trading around 18 bucks, and the ATR is $2.26. That's huge. That's a lot. So this is what we're trying to warn you. Be very careful with this type of stock. It's also 26 million shares flow. It's not a low flow, but it is something you want to be very careful with. Whoa, Macy's. Something's up here. So Macy's is down 15.2 this morning. 3.3 million shares traded. What's the news on Macy's, Norm? This is
yeah, they reported earnings this morning. Missed revenue. They've lowered their guidance for the year. Their comparable store sales were just barely up year to year. So that's what's going on there. That's also what's hit Kohl's. Is just retail and retail in general.
Got it. Yeah, so Kohl's not hurting as bad as Macy's, but Macy's, you can see, this is one to watch today, guys. Look at the volume, 3.3 million shares traded. Beautiful pre-market activity after this drop here. We're definitely going to see some action out of this. Where you don't want to be is short bias on any of these type of stocks, right? I'll give you an example really quick. If you look at APP yesterday, this thing gapped down huge, and look at what happens. Comes right back to where it came from. So be very careful being short bias on these type of stocks. Macy's definitely in play this morning. We'll look at one more, guys. MYGN, and this one is down 34.2, 235,000 shares traded. Not sure what the news is on this one, but look at this action. Pretty weird. You got this one candle on August 1st, which kind of goes above $10 or so, whatever this is. Consolidates, and now we have a huge drop. Norma, have you gotten a chance to look into this one yet? On what's going on with this one? This one is
They reported last night. I haven't dug through it, but it was a pretty nasty miss.
Yeah, this is pretty bad. Pre-market activity not looking all that great, but definitely one worth watching after this huge drop here. Kind of getting to the area of we had some resistance in the past. Price action is right on that area, so we can get into it. All right, guys, so we have quite a bit. So today we are going to skip going through each chat room, because most likely what you have should be in here. So we're going to go through this in fine detail, and we're going to chop this up. And after we're done finding support and resistance, if there's anything that we have not covered that you like, that looks great, has volume, has a good pre-market activity, is gapping over. Today it should be gapping at least over 5%, because everything is -2 or -3. Then we can look into that. So let's get into announcements, Norm. What do we have for this week?
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. So, first thing, I know it's been the much anticipated. Finally finished editing and getting everything together for the Dr. Brett Steenbarger interview. It is posted on YouTube. It is a great lesson in psychology. He's a world-renowned trading psychologist and author. He's got another book coming out this month that he discusses in the interview. So if you haven't had a chance, just check it out. Avial's posted the link in the alert section above. Then Trade Ideas is doing one of their test drive. They do this a few times a year. You get their highest level package for $8.99. You're talking about a service that's somewhere in the ballpark of $2,200 to $2,300 a year. And you can have 5 days for just under $9. Essentially, you're just paying for data. Andrew is we just actually, I saw a picture of him. He climbed Matterhorn and came back down. So he is in Switzerland doing a Zurich meetup August 18th. I believe that's this Sunday. Bearable Traders has been nominated to the Benzinga FinTech Awards for Best Financial Literacy Tool. If you like our content, if you're part of the room, watch us on YouTube. We'd love to have your vote. You can vote one time per day per device. And then today, Wednesday workshop is going to be noon, and I believe Peter's going to be presenting on VWAP. Williams Trade Review will be, I think he's doing one this evening. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then also he had his Ask Me Anything with Jeremy Newsom last night. It is posted on YouTube as well. So go ahead and check that out when you have a moment.
All right, excellent, guys. So let's get into our list. We have quite a bit here. So let's see how we can chop this up and keep the ones that have the best pre-market activity and the best action. All right, so let's start with INMD here. So one of the two that are gapping up this morning. INMD looks okay. I like the way the pre-market activity is kind of building up. I wish it had more volume though. But the fact that it's up this morning when everything else is down, I gotta say, for me, it does make it interesting. So we'll do some levels for it. Again, not much levels we're going to add on here. High of the pre-market sitting at 18.10. Low of the pre-market sitting around 15.13. And there's really nothing else more you can add on here, right? Below that, you have plenty of levels, previous days and close, previous days highs and lows, and previous day close right in this area here between 15.13 and 13.50. I'm going to keep this one, see how it develops. Again, it's interesting that while everything is down, this one is up. That's always interesting to see. REAL, this one on here, again, it has a nice drop here. Pre-market activity not looking all that great. Again, just barely 100,000 shares traded, 115 here. Doesn't look all that great, guys. So I'm going to remove this one from my list. If it does hit our scanners, we already have some great levels on here. So don't need to add any more. Don't need to complicate it. You see, you have your highs and lows from the last 2 trading days right in here, and also your previous day close. So if you want to add some more levels, you can add the high of the pre-market sitting at 19.19, and then above that, there's really nothing else until this level over here, 22.88, right? So let's add that on there just to be prepared. You do have a moving average coming in around, what's that, 20? Yeah, this is the 200. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not the 200, probably the 9. Around 20.37. You can mark that down as well, but there's really nothing else until we get to that 22.88. So we're ready for some levels on this, but not really going to watch this one personally this morning. So WFC, again, another one of the banks. So out of the banks, I'm just probably going to keep one for my watch list. Here we have WFC. I do like the daily on WFC. Let's take a look at how Bank of America looks. And then also, what's the other one? We have Citigroup. So out of these three, I think WFC probably has the best one. And the reason why, because of the daily chart. Again, Bank of America does have a lot of volume, but look at the movements. Just nothing really happening, right? Look at this daily chart. So I'm going to keep WFC for today. I'm going to remove Bank of America and Citi out of all the banks that we have. So WFC, let's do some levels for this one. Doesn't have great volume, but I expect if the banks are going to do any crazy move, this one will also follow suit. At the moment, we have 44.79, low of the pre-market. Towards the bottom, we have another great level down here, 44.23, which can possibly test if the market start tanking. Then towards the top, you have several, the highs and lows, right? The lows of the last 2 trading days right in here are a very nice area of support. that can become resistance now. So you can see here several days testing that area exactly on there around that, what is that, 45.32. Then you have the high of the pre-market at 45.50. You can mark that down, and then above that you really have the previous day close and several moving averages towards the top of the PCL. Then we have Apple. Apple actually looks very good, has a very clean pre-market activity this morning. Usually Apple doesn't tend to have that great pre-market activity, but today it does. Here we have an area where it's sitting right at a level, this level here from this day here, and also you have this day opening and closing, closing at this area here. So price action right at a level. I'm not going to mark that because it looks like it might be cracking it, that 203.72, low of the pre-market. Towards the top, I'm going to mark down 206.46, and then you have your previous day close next to your high of the pre-market as well. Above that, if we decide to really rip things up here, you have your high from the last trading day. Towards the bottom, guys, plenty of levels because the last 2 trading days you have your highs and lows right in here. You also have a nice moving average hitting the low from yesterday. So again, just don't need to really add anymore. Let's see what it does around this 203.72. That's the low of the pre-market at the moment. Not sure if it's going to hold or not. Depending how this develops, we can add our pre-market low once this thing stops at some point where it has a bounce. So JD at the moment, pre-market activity not looking all that great, but I do like JD today. Had a very big day yesterday, giving some back today, down 2.5. Low of the pre-market sitting at 29.82. Towards the top, the high of the pre-market very close to the PCL, previous day close. So I'm going to mark down 30.50 up here. Then above that, you have the previous day close. Towards the bottom, you have this day here with a beautiful rejection of this level, 29.37, found support here and bounced back up. And then what I like about this 29.37, you also have a moving average right on it. So that's great as well. You got some more confirmation of that level. Then towards the bottom, you have another moving average at 28.95. I'm just going to mark these because these are looking very good. And I'm going to mark down 28.63. Then after these moving averages here and this daily level as well, you have your low from yesterday and also your highs and lows from the last two trading days ago listed down here. So plenty of levels for JD in this situation. Again, pre-market activity is looking great. Let's see how this develops. If it's going to hold this 29.82, had a big day yesterday. We got to see how this turns out today. AMD still holding this level here. So low of the pre-market 31.18, holding that very strong. You can see very close to the high of a week or two ago. Towards the bottom, if we lose that, we have a daily level here, 30.35, and then one down here over at 29.75. So I think that's plenty for AMD. I don't think it's going to move down that much. Anything is possible, obviously, but I think these are 2 good levels to have towards the bottom. If we can lose this 31.18 we have for the low of the pre-market. Towards the top, we have a lot of resistance up here. So we have the previous day close very close to the high of the pre-market. We have all our moving averages besides not even the 200s there as well. So we have all our moving averages right on here around the low of the last trading day yesterday. So look out for that level. It's a lot of resistance there. And then above that, you got your highs of the last 3 trading days or so all up here. So you got plenty of levels towards the top. Going down to MU. So MU's pre-market activity still not looking all that great. It's kind of stuck within this range right at the moment. Low of the pre-market sitting at 42.79. Had a great day yesterday and traded amazing. Really took off right after open. Not giving any pullback really when it took off. Then towards the top, I'm going to mark down the close of this day here around 43.59. Right now the price action is slightly below these moving averages we have here, so be aware of that. And then towards the top, you have your previous day close, and also you have the high from the last trading day. Towards the bottom, you got plenty of highs and lows from the last 2 trading days right in here around 42.50. So if it can break out of that, your next one could be possibly 41. But as you know me, I like to have a level that I can aim for. So this one here, 41.70, you have several days bouncing off of this one and opening and closing around this area as well. All right, so that's MU. Let's look at Roku. So Roku is holding here. It came down all the way to 130.80 and kind of held and bouncing back a bit. Not with a lot of action, but it does have some great volume, 246 for Roku this morning. And if we zoom out on the daily, we have plenty of levels in here already. Towards the top, you have plenty. This is your all-time high, by the way. Then you have your highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, the previous day close, high of the pre-market right around the previous day close. And then towards the bottom, you have after the low of the pre-market, you do have the low of the last the 2 trading days ago. You can also mark down this one here in case we lose that 129.50. You can also mark down 128.16, but that's plenty of levels in this area for Roku. I mean, interesting to see what Roku is going to do today with the markets down, because this stock just has been strong. Every time you think it's going to sell off, it finds a way to crack a new all-time high. So it's been interesting to watch for sure. So LK at the moment, it did bounce back from this 21.73 level we had here from before. Again, very close to it, exact low 21.89, but I'm going to keep this 21.73 here because I like the fact that this has been tested before in the past as resistance and then as support. There's a beautiful bounce here as support, so it comes down here, tests 21.73, heads right back up with some good momentum there. Towards the top, I do love this level here at 23.24. Reason why is you have resistance here and a lot of consolidation, support again, and then also resistance at around 23.24. Then above that, guys, don't add any more. There's plenty on here. Highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, moving average, previous day close. You definitely have a lot in there already. If we lose this 21.73, which is possible, if we lose that, the next level I see could be this one here, 21.08, right around 21. You also have a moving average slightly below that, but look how these days had a lot of resistance getting above that 21.08 at one point. So look out for that as well. And then I also love when you have a day that blows over that resistance and come back and tests it as support. We saw that yesterday in the pre-market show plenty of times. We had stock that go through resistance, come back, test that support, and then head back up. So I like that 21.08 this morning. KSS, again, down quite a bit, but the pre-market activity is not looking great. But I do like the fact that this is down 6.3 today. And with the market conditions, if this can get on fire in one way or the other, it can really run. I'm going to mark down 47.16 as we have several days as using this as support. Below that, we have this one down here at 46.19 and one all the way down here. Nice little hammer on the daily at 45.31. Towards the top, you have this one day sticking out here. We had found some good support and bounced back really nicely around 48.01. And then above that, you have all your highs and lows and previous day close all the way almost to the T of the market high at 50.67. Actually, exactly 50.67. So that's good for Coast. We'll decide if we're actually going to keep this one because the pre-market activity does not look great, but this is a nicey stock, so it tends to do that. Some stocks don't have a great pre-market activity. OSTK is the stock that you want to be very careful with. ATR, and this is over $2 and it's an $18 stock, so please be careful with how many shares you take here. Low of the pre-market sitting at 17.70. And then you have a beautiful drop all the way down here. Again, another nice little hammer here on the daily at 16.28. And you have 2 moving averages right on there. So that gives you even extra support for that 16.28. Towards the bottom, guys, if we lose that, we have an area of more resistance around here, around 15.30. So that's plenty towards the bottom on OSTK. Towards the top, if we get a bounce today, we have plenty of levels above the pre-market high. So I'm going to mark down this 19 level. Here's the reason why. You have several days using that as resistance and having a tough time getting out of this. The few times that we broke out of it and we hit that 20, we sold right back down. Eventually, we were able to crack it and then take off nicely. Here comes the retest of that resistance before we have a nice pop. So mark that down on OSTK. Right now, pre-market activity is looking okay, kind of holding the 1767. Looks like it might want to head back down and test it one more time. Here is Macy's, guys. 3.7 million shares traded, going for 4 easily the way this thing is moving. Low of the pre-market sitting at 16.25. Are we at all-time low? Let's go over to our weekly chart, see what we have here. We might be. Macy's has been taking a huge hit here. No, we're not. So we're going really back now, guys. May 2019. I'm just going to find the best level here off the weekly. I'm going to put down, we have this one at 14, and we also have this one around 15.35. You got some weekly levels here that we can pick off. You can clearly see the support and resistance of those levels. So getting back closer towards the top. Actually, hold on, we should have picked that off the weekly as well. Towards the top, go back to that same area and off the weekly just to get an idea. Again, we have a big gap from yesterday on Macy's, but you do have an area here right around here from consolidation. So you see several, if you draw a line right on here on this 1770, you do have some areas of support and resistance, right? So mark that down, that 1770, just to have a midpoint, because that's a big gap to try to close on Macy's. Keep in mind, this is going back to 2010, 2019. So that's very far out. In this type of stock, you want to watch out for the 17, for the 18s and the 1850s and 1750s, as those could be area where you can lose some momentum or have a change in direction. MYGN, this one is down 33%. I'm going to put a level right on here. I love the pre-market at 29.08. High of the pre-market sitting at 36.19. I mean, this is just dangerous, guys. You want to be very careful. What's the ATR on this one? ATR is $3. So just kind of touch what kind of stock this is. The daily chart also doesn't look as great. You have another level here at 31. Look at this 31, 39. Very nice in here. And then above that, if we can find another area of support and resistance, it's 33.81. Also, you can see how it's banging their heads between these two levels. So I'll mark that down. So that's plenty of levels for MYGN, and also towards the bottom, just in case we lose the previous day close, you have 26.76. All right, guys, so that's a lot. Let's see what we're going to remove from here. Let's try to keep 6. So this is a recent IPO.
Good luck narrowing it to 6.
Yeah, this is the hard part, right? So WFC, JD. I'm going to keep JD because I had a great day yesterday. I'm going to see what JD does today. On a day like today, I like to watch AMD and MU. Maybe I'll just keep AMD. I'll take off MU. Roku, I'm going to watch. LK, I'm going to take off. Several reasons. I don't like the pre-market as much, and also I don't have shares for sure. So you want to be picky with things like that. You're going to be able to trade it both ways. Same thing with OSTK. Again, it could be very risky, and also I don't have shares for short selling restriction. Going to remove that one. This is the point where you want to look at what do you have available for shorts. What do you like trading? Your price style. You know, if you like higher price, lower price, this is the time that you can start being picky in that area. MYGN, I do have shares for sure. It does have some volume. It's interesting how down this is today. But guys, you really have to watch your shares. This ATR is $3, right? So it also doesn't have the cleanest pre-market activity, but I gotta say I am curious to see how this is going to trade today. Macy's, I am going to watch. This is heading down to some areas it hasn't been to in a very long time. It's got some good volume, so I'll watch that. Coast, I am on the fence. Again, not a great pre-market activity, but it's a nicey stock. It can change his mind pretty soon. JD. Apple, I like Apple. WSC, NY, man, these okay, I am going to keep these for now. I'm gonna make this still a lot smaller. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. I still gotta get rid of about 3, and that's what I'm gonna keep this morning. But I'm gonna wait till closer to 9:30, see how the price action develops. Like on this INMD, if this can get above 18, it can start looking very interesting. WFC is really not looking interesting, guys. You know what? I'm going to get rid of this one. I just don't like the pre-market activity. Low volume. We could wait for this one to hit our scanners, or any of the banks to hit our scanners, and we can tune into either Bank of America, Citigroup, any of those one, depending how that goes out. Apple's got a good pre-market activity, some good volume. JD, I like. AMD, I like as well. Roku here. Yeah, Roku I like also. Coast I might get rid of. I think I might get rid of Coast. Pre-market activity is just horrible. I'm gonna wait for this will be a good possible later on. So I'm gonna throw it down here. If it hits our scanners, I can quickly focus in on it. But I'm gonna remove Coast from this list. I like Macy's and MYGN, probably the least favorite on this list. But I want to see how this plays out. It's a big drop of 33%, and we could play this one both ways. We have shares for short and long. Ooh, the spread though, guys. The spread is just, you know what? I'm gonna take this off. This could be really nasty if you get caught in the wrong direction. The spread right now is almost 30 cents. ATR is $3. As interesting as this look on the daily, I'm just gonna get rid of it. It's kind of out of my league. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Yep, this is my list, guys. Is INMD a low flow? It is. I didn't check that. Hold on. It is a low flow, 9.7. You know, it's not moving like a low flow. Well, now that I look, yeah, it is a low flow, 9.74. Yes, you know what? We'll throw this down here for the low flow team. This will be the one for the low flow team today. This INMD. So we'll throw that on there. All right. So with that said, you know what? I can bring back Coast then. Yep, I can bring back Coast on my main list because I'll watch 6. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Excellent, guys. That is what we have. Again, we have a lot, and this list is only going to get worse. I see BP showing up here, where it doesn't trade very well. X doesn't trade very well neither. WK, I'm not even sure what that is. We have TLRY, guys. This is another dangerous stock, but again, a lot of red on the screen. This one, a day like today, the SPY is, it's probably going to carry a lot of these stocks. The AMDs, the MUs, the JDs of the world are great to watch because they are going to have a nice spread, and you could trade them towards the downside if the market is going to sell off. I agree, SB TVIX, you can scalp that as well today. Again, I don't put that on my list because it's not really, you can't really trade our strategies on TVIX. It's more for a scalping, which is not bad. Sometimes I do scalp certain stocks and it turns out very well. Norm, anything that we missed before we say bye to our YouTube friends?
No, I don't think so. I was just going to add that I put Tilray on my list, which is a rarity. I rarely ever trade the pot stocks, and Tilray especially, but it looks kind of interesting to me.
Let's see what we have here. So this one is down 10.6, 112. Yeah, daily looks interesting, man. Well, it's not trading at $300, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. There's probably that poor guy with the order at $300 that's still waiting for it to recover back up there.
I would not be surprised. Look at this thing here. It's just unreal. Yeah, we were watching this live in the chat room, guys, and I mean, this thing went from 125 or something all the way up to 300 and back down in a day. I mean, this is just insane. PTLA. Let's look at PTLA before we get out of here. PTLA. Let's look at the daily. We saw this one earlier. It looks interesting, guys. It does. It has a nice daily here coming back to test this moving average. The pre-market action, though, is not all that great for the type of volume it has. I'm not sure about the pre-market action, but again, this is going to be one of those days, and Brian talks about this a lot, where you could be watching the one stock that might not give you the best opportunity, and others will, because there's no way you can watch all these stocks, right? It's just impossible. So patience is the key, guys. No fear of missing out, because today could be a day where somebody else could have an entire watch list than you have and still have an amazing watch list, and you are going to possibly miss those moves. It's going to happen, and that's okay. Sometimes I prefer when the list is a little smaller, it's more confined into what actually is in play. A lot of us will probably be watching the exact same thing, and we can catch those moves. But today is one of those days where you definitely have a lot going on. Patience and taking your time is going to be the key here. And again, no fear of missing out. All right, guys, thank you for joining us on YouTube. Have a great Wednesday. Trade safe, and we will see you guys tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern time. Take care, guys.
Take care, guys. Trade safe. Thanks for watching.